So, good afternoon everyone, and first of all, thank you very much for the presentation, and thank you very much to letting me presenting this work in front of you in this wonderful conference. So yeah, my name is Fabien Amarger. I'm working at Logilab, which is a French company. And we work on this project, which is called FranceArchives, and today I will present you this platform, how it works and what it is used for. So, first of all, FranceArchives, what is it and what it contains? This is a project who starts in March 2017. And the idea behind this platform is to store and aggregate all metadata from several archival institutions. So they just upload metadata inside this platform, and the platform aggregates everything, and then everyone can search between all across all the metadata to search some archival documents. The idea is that it aggregates from several institutions, which can be national, can be local as well, public or private, military, and so on. And the idea is as well to make them available for a wide range of audience. So this is really an open way to make all this metadata available for everyone. Now there is more than 100 of content providers. They are like institution contributors. This is the institution who send metadata to the platform, and this number is just increasing each week or each month, depends. But just last week, one new contributor just signed the charts to upload the data. So yeah, it will increase in the future again and again. So it's nice. There are a lot of finding gates inside it. So finding gates is more or less bundles of components which are archival documents, and it contains 21 millions of components, which is like a big number. We will see that it can be a problem for some time. And beside it, there is this specific base de nom. This is a database for personal records, which is stored inside the FranceArchives. Yeah, this is a parallel project, just because yeah, it is an ongoing works on that database. We import a lot of formats, but the most important ones and most or current one, it's the XML EAD, XML EAC to import the data, but sometimes we have to deal with PDF files or CSV files, depending on the content providers and the institution, what they have and what they can bring. So sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's a bit more complicated. And the process is automatic for some part of them, using mostly ORI-PMH protocol to import the data, and for some providers the importing process is doing manually. Still depends on the contributors and how much they can automatically process the output. And the platform is used by more than 200,000 visitors per month, so it's yeah, wide use, which is pretty nice as well. So a lot of data from a lot of providers to a lot of people, so it's great. A lot of things everywhere, it's nice. So when we are talking about this kind of works, the first step is always format harmonization, just because, as I said, there are several formats, and the formats can be very specific or using some standards already existing. But the main part of the work as this step is just to import the data and put them on the database model we use inside the platform. So we use EAD, Dublin Core format, or particular CSV, and so on, and we just map the formats to our model inside the platform. So this mapping part is just doing manually to, after that, automatically import the data. But what is important, and the next step, is the auto-tier harmonization. And this step is to extract indexes from documents, and these indexes are linked to some authorities, which are some references, and we want to share the references between archival documents, and especially between institutions, to allow the users to search between several institutions' data. So this is why the authority management is pretty big part of the work. And this is why I will speak about this, especially on this section. When we extract an archival document, which can be a finding aid or FI component, we extract indexes. Indexes are part of the document. This is some tags attached to the document. And these indexes can be to three types. The first one is location, or agents for personal organization and so on, or subjects. And these indexes are linked to authorities, and the authorities are not part of the document. They are shared between documents, and this is like the private nodes between documents if we want to search between them. So we link indexes from the documents to authorities. For example, if we have like a document that links with Berlin, then we will have an index calling Berlin attached to the document, and we link this index to the authority Berlin we maybe already have on the database. Then we have the link to the shared authority. Hence, if another document talks about Berlin, then we will attach to the same authority. And one of the ideas is to use unique identifiers everywhere, and especially for authority. Then we can map them easily to several indexes. And we will see for the export data is very important as well. How does it work? We have an archival document which is imported inside the FranceArchives portal. Then the first step is to extract indexes. So the three types of indexes, whatever the type it is, and then we will try to align these indexes to already existing authorities, because we just get the authorities already existing from the database and try to align them from the new indexes. And if we can't align these indexes, then we create a new authority, and this new authority is added to the database. Then the next index will be mapped to this new authority, maybe. And we use this new authority to align with external databases. So we try to align it to external database to obtain more data. I will speak about this just after. And this alignment is manually validated to be sure that we handle with value the data and not some noises added to the database. And then we add these alignments to the database. So when we are dealing with alignment to external sources, external databases, it depends of the authority category. For example, if we are talking about my example I took before, Berlin, this is the location authority, so we will try to map the Berlin authority to an entity from geonames. And once we align this authority to geonames external database, we will try to extract some information to increase the data we have in the platform and to enrich it. From geoname, for example, we extract geo-coordinates that we do not have inside the index at the beginning, and we try to extract the location hierarchy to obtain that Berlin in Germany, which in Europe, and so on. So this is a way we align to external databases and how we obtain new data to enrich our data inside the platform to let the users search about this data as well. And of course, these data are fetched periodically to be sure that they are up to date, because sometimes the data on the external databases are updating, so we want the updates on our database as well. And depending the authority type, so we have different kind of external sources that we are interested in. After that, we obtain several authorities that we generate each time we import a new archival document. But we can find some redundancies inside the authority. This is like a well-known problem. For example, if we have an authority talking about Berlin, but another one, they just decide that this is a new one, but this is the city of Berlin, we can have two authorities dealing with that, but this is actually the same authority. So there is a manual operations to just group the authorities to say that, for example, the authority, the city of Berlin, is actually deprecated, and we want to use the authority Berlin instead. And all the indexes which were attached to the previous authority is now attached to the preferred one, and the last one, the deprecated one, has no indexes attached anymore, but there is a link to the preferred authority. I don't know if you can see my mouse. Yeah. For example, here, this authority can be like the city of Berlin, as this authority is Berlin, and this link is just to say, okay, this one is the preferred authority instead of the other. And now the index is not on the deprecated authority, but on the preferred authority. Using that, we just created the authorities base, and we just improve the quality of the data. At the end, we obtain quite a lot of authorities. Most of them are agent authorities, because, yeah, we talk a lot about people and notarian and so on. But not that much are aligned to external sources. And most of the alignment come from the location authorities. Yeah, mainly we can explain that because location are quite wide known. Instead of the agent, could be not famous enough to be in some external sources, because it's like an archival document about this specific area. It's not the agent could not be present in the wikidata, for example. But yeah, that's quite a lot of authorities. And if we're talking about exporting this data, it will be maybe too much authorities, too much data that can be very interesting for the users. So this is why one of the features that is implemented here is to add a flag to qualify the authorities. So manually, the administrators can go and see the authorities and say, okay, this one is aligned to several external sources. We fetch some data that are okay with the authorities. It's the good data and with good quality, and it is used for several archival documents. So it is great. I can stamp it to say this is qualified authority, and then this authority are exported, and the one are not qualified, they are not exported, and as well doing the indexes alignment to authorities, they are preferred. The qualified authority are preferred for the alignment. So yeah, this is an ongoing process as well, because as you can see on the slide, there is only 1.4% of authorities which has been qualified. This is not because the others are not quality enough, it's because it takes a long time to validate manually all of that kind of authorities. So yeah, this is an ongoing process. But yeah, now we want to export that to make this data available for most of the people. Because, yeah, I explained that we can import archival documents, extract indexes, align them to already existing authorities, create new authorities if needed, align the new authorities to external sources, get some new data to improve the data that are present in the database. All of this data can be searchable inside the website of the FranceArchives, because behind that there is an Elasticsearch database that you can just ask, which is nice. But if you want to increase the interoperability, we want to export this data using the semantic web standards, and especially RDF. So this is why we are talking about exporting data, so that we can reuse the data and link them to other data and so on. We decide to use record in context as an ontology to export the data. So this ontology, which has been presented and yeah, criticized during this conference, which was very nice and very interesting. This is an ontology which will be created and promoted by the International Council of Archives, which is, yeah, quite a big institution, also very interesting to use the ontology. And there is a good coverage of EAD and EAC formats, which is pretty nice for us, just because we import a lot of data in this format, and as well because the database modelization has been has been using this format as an inspiration to modelize. So we have the modelization that's not that far from EAD and EAC. So if the ontology is that close, it's interesting for us because we are not like a big way to obtain the new format. And we have seasoned the National Archive of France, which is an institution which generates archive of national level in France. They use this ontology as well. So yeah, this is pretty interesting for us as well to see that other people have made the same choice, and other projects and tools implementing this ontology. But the main argument is maybe that there is a documentation which is very well formed, but we also had some context, some direct context to authors and person who contribute to this ontology, which has been very valuable during the process. So how does it work under the hood? FranceArchives platform is deployed behind a CubicWeb server. So as Julia said, we already presented CubicWeb here, but yeah, this is some kind of Python framework specialized on semantic web technologies, web development, or application development. So the database is in PostgreSQL, but whatever. But in CubicWeb, there are these specific entities which are adapters, and these adapters is used to transform the data to other formats, and especially we can transform to HTML, for example, to generate all the web interface. It uses adapters to generate the HTML on the fly, but we can generate CSV to extract data, and we can generate RDF file as well with these adapters. And the adapters can be used through the HTTP API for content negotiation and to obtain RDF for the entity we are interested in. But every 6 months, we export the whole database in RDF to generate an RDF dump available somewhere and to populate a SPARQL endpoint. It is only every 6 months just because there are a lot of data and it takes like 2 to 3 days to generate everything. So it was decided to not doing every week because it takes some time and some resources. So every 6 months is considered enough. So we can access data through content negotiation, as I said. To facilitate it, we had some buttons on the web interface that we can click and just download the RDF file for the specific entities. And as I said, the RDF dump and SPARQL endpoint are up to date every 6 months. And we implemented the tool with YASGI. This is like an interface to write your SPARQL queries, and there are some example SPARQL queries inside the interface. So if you want to try to see how to query and interrogate this data, there are some examples. And we implemented SPARNatural. I don't know if you know this tool, but this is a user-friendly interface to create SPARQL queries. So you can just click and it creates the SPARQL queries. It's really nice to like make people writing SPARQL without knowing SPARQL. It's pretty cool. So for conclusion and perspective, first of all, the platform FranceArchives is to make all archival documents from several institutions searchable by all. There is a very important part of this project is the quality of indexation. So we have seen all the authorities management, the alignment, and the validation, and the qualified flag, and so on. This is LOD compliant data because we generate RDF, we use a well-known ontology, we link to other sources that are available on the RDF exports, and we have to deal with large-scale data management, large-scale data, sorry, because there are a lot of data and it can make some trouble sometimes. For the perspective, one of it is we want to contribute to the external sources we are linked to. For example, we link to wikidata, and it could be nice to just propose some modification to add some data to wikidata, and not only get them, but also upload them. We want to extend what data we can extract from external sources, just to improve the quality of the user research. And we want to extend as well the RDF translation to other documents, and especially for the personal records, because base de nom, what I present at the beginning, It's not exported in RDF yet, but it will be nice to export this to have, like, for example, marital status and so on exported in the RDF data. It could be very nice. But it is quite big, and it will be bigger and bigger during the time. So we have to optimize the workflow to deal with more and more RDF data. So I said it takes 2 to 3 days to export in RDF data, and if we export even more data, so we have to discover how we can optimize it. And of course, we want to follow the recourse evolution. If the ontology is just evolving, we want to be up to date in this aspect. So thank you very much. As you can see, this is not my email address. This is Elodie and Mathilde addresses. If you want to contact, because I'm not the main contributor of this project, but I contribute in some parts, but not the main one. So if you have very dedicated questions, maybe ask to Elodie or Mathilde beside me. I will try to answer the best as I can, but yeah, they are the main contributors here. So thank you very much for your attention, and if you have some question, maybe.
Hello, thanks for your talk. FranceArchives is enriching the data that they're getting from the archives. Is this enriched data, the links, also going back to the archives? Are they open to receive that data, and is it in your workflow?
For now, no. They are not improving the archive data, but the data are available through the SPARQL endpoint, so if they want to get them and improve them, they can, but there is no explicit way to improve their data. This is available so they can, but yeah, they have to deal with that. But yeah, this is a nice opportunity to improve the data, and we want to improve that. Thank you for the question.
Two questions. Where on the FranceArchives site do we find the SPARQL endpoint? And what was the methodology you used for doing the reconciliation?
The reconciliation between authorities when we extract indexes? Yeah, the main port is exact match, so it's why there is so much redundancies. Because the idea is that we really do not want to add some noises in the data, so we use quite simple algorithm and manual validation. So it takes some time, and there are a lot of data, but at the end we know what we have, and we are pretty confident about the quality. So this is why we do not use so much things. But I know there are some experimentation about automatize, or at least make some proposition to like group authorities, because for now the grouping part is manually done, but it could be automatically, for example, using external sources alignment. It could be nice to say if it's linked to the same wikidata ID, so it's maybe the same, so I can propose you to group them. But for now it's just experimentation to see if it adds so much noise or not, if it's really helping or not. It's well, quite complicated to answer, but yeah, I don't remember the first question, sorry.
Where do we find the SPARQL endpoint on the website?
Where do
the
find
address of the SPARQL endpoint?
There is like on the web interface, there is a link to SPARQL endpoint. So
yeah. So I was looking at the FranceArchives site that you linked, and on the page also advanced search. I'm missing it, maybe.
Okay, it's missing. Okay, I have to check after that, and I will tell you about that. Okay, sorry.
Okay, thank you. I think we would have more time for one short question. There's an, yeah, I see one up there.
Thank you very much. This is loud. I have poked around on the FranceArchives website, and I want to tell you that it is a great tool. I've loved it. The question I wanted to ask you is, you mentioned a manual step during the reconciliation, and I'm curious to know more about how much work that is, percentage-wise, of the entire workflow, and who does that work?
Yeah, this represents a lot of work, that's for sure. This is why I just explained here that, yeah, this is one of the parts that is done manually, the qualified parts. But maybe you mentioned the part of grouping, this one, I guess. This is quite a lot of work. I have no numbers to tell you now, so I don't want to say anything wrong. But what I know is that there are not so much people to do this, so it's why it takes some time, and it's why this part is really important. We export only qualified authorities. The qualified authorities are the one who probably has been grouped with other authorities and aligned with external sources and validating. So even if everything is not well grouped, if there are redundancies with some authorities, they are not export. So everything is not export, so okay, it's not exhaustive, that's for sure. But what is export is okay and validated. So this is, it was really important for the project that we export only validated data and not add so much noises. And there are like few people, it's like, I don't know, I will just say a number, but I'm not really sure about this. I guess there are like 3 or 4 persons to do that, so that is not like big number, and so it's not a big team to do that, so it takes really so much time. This is why the number of qualified authorities are so low, and it will take a very long time to just explore all the authorities. So yeah, this is a big part of the problem, and this is why we are considering automatize something, even if it can bring some noises. So we are just trying to see how to set the cursor between automation and helping people, but not add so much noise and keep have some good qualities of the exports. This is not well defined yet where we can set the cursor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much then again, Fabien, for
Thank you.
your talk.